So how long did it take you to learn OBS?
Oh, who's to say I've learned OBS?
Oh no, I just press record.
This is a pain in the ass to learn how to
It's
utilize,
just seat of your
dude.
pants, man. Seat of your goddamn pants. Like it's just play with it, man. just mess around.
But they told me not to play with it.
If I had a nickel for every time somebody told me that too.
Just play with it.
Just play with it.
Yeah.
Just play with it a little.
That's like the new Nike's slogan.
Just
Just play with it.
Just play with it.
Just have a little fun. It'll be fine.
It's only the way you
The
live.
show hasn't even started yet.
As far as you know, everything's recording.
Oh. Oh, that's not funny.
No.
I feel like George Costanza. I should just leave the room after that one killer joke.
All right,
All
everyone.
right, I'm out. That's it for me.
Out on a high note.
Well, we can get started
Because you
here.
have Kramer on your wall there.
Yeah. He's a loathsome,
I
offensive
figured we were all
brute.
fans of the show.
Yet I
I
can't.
loathe him.
Hello.
I love it. Then they have him for dinner.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, it's episode 267. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us once again for another headbanging episode of the Foo Bar Show program. But before we get into anything, get your Foo Bar Show swag at foobarshow.com. Find all kinds of items like t-shirts, pillow cushions, mugs, magnets, and stickers in tons of colors and styles. Go to our merch page found at foobarshow.com to check it all out. Next up, click on the link to SoCal Rock Band, The Fallen Electric at the bottom of foobarshow.com for music, tour dates, and merch. On Saturday, March 26th, we are back on stage at Canyon Inn in Yorba Linda, California from 9:30 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. It's my birthday weekend, so I invite everybody to come out and enjoy a good time with some drinks and music. It's free to enter, and they've got a full bar to help you properly enjoy an evening with The Fallen Electric. Lastly, Grass Store, everybody, now servicing all of Southern California and the San Francisco Bay Area. See, I said it right this time. They're the best cannabis delivery service I've ever used, bar none. Go to foobarshow.com, click on our Grass Store banner, and first-time users get 30% off of their purchase. Thanks to those who have shared or clicked on our banner and continue to show us some love. And now, episode 267. Here we go. Filthy Martini Studios in Ontario, California, it's the Foo Bar Show! Hey, what is up, everyone? I am Joe C.
I'm Josh.
And Steph.
Thank you all very much for listening into the Foo Bar Show. Remember to hit subscribe and be sure to rate, review, and tell a friend like a champ. You can also listen in and get our swag at foobarshow.com. That's FOOBarshow.com, and follow FOO Bar Show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Join in, drop us a line, and we'll foo it up like a couple of foos. Ain't that right, foos?
Seafood.
Seafood. Well, man, today is a very special day. We can talk about some other things, but I wanted to include, before anything else, Mr. Tanner Poppitt is back on the show. Say hi, Tanner.
Hi, Tanner.
Hey, how's it going, man? Tanner, you're he's been on the show before. For those who have bothered listening way back when, it was probably season 1 of the Foo Bar Show. Back when it was even at the old place, and you came in and you helped us kind of re-establish what it's like to have a guest on. You were one of our first guests, and I think we even traded out some pointers because you also have your own podcast, Poppitt's Corner.
That's correct. Trade secrets as we call it. We don't.
That's right.
Obviously, right?
Yeah. Nobody's listening anyway.
Exactly. that's not true at all. Dude,
Yeah,
one thing. So obviously, you mentioned I do Poppitt's Corner, and the one thing I've noticed is you never know who's listening.
Oh yeah.
So.
It's true. It's true. I say it in jest.
And the other thing too is if only 2 people are listening, who gives a fuck? Because you enjoy doing the show. So
no, that's what I tell myself. That's how I sleep at night, Tanner.
that's what keeps you keep going, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The definition of insanity doesn't fall too far from my understanding. Anyway, and you're also in this really awesome metal band, Madrost, and you've been doing that for quite some time. In fact, you re-released a lot of your vinyls.
Correct. Yeah, all 4 of them are now available on CD and vinyl, which I brought a couple CDs for you folks here
Thanks,
as
man.
well.
But I'm looking at these
and the vinyl
vinyls right now. So for those checking us out on our video portion, you can check that out at YouTube or on our Instagram. That's posted at the beginning of every week. But yeah, Tanner just brought these vinyls, man. It's fucking beautiful artwork too, man. And some CDs. But this vinyl here, Charring the Rotten Earth, right here. All right, check that out.
Nice.
Into the aquatic sector.
There you go. By the time you show this, the show's going to be over.
What is it, Maleficent?
Yes, sir.
Maleficent right here. That one's pretty sick. And the essence of time, it matches no flesh. Now, this is the one that introduced me to Madrost, I believe.
Did I give you that last time? I think I...
No.
No, when I came on, I didn't give you one?
No.
I'm an asshole. Anyway, well, you got one now, so...
No, yeah. I mean, yeah. I never thought you were an asshole, man.
No. Just jokes. Just jokes.
Okay. Fucking asshole.
But yeah. Thanks again for having me. I really appreciate it, and give me a couple minutes of you guys' time to just shoot the shit with somebody else that's not on my podcast.
We're going to be doing some things a little out of order. Tanner's going to spend some time with us here in the intro, and we're going to ask him all kinds of heavy-hitting questions in the music highlights, and on top of that, highlighting some of the songs that are on these albums that he's given us here. And but I wanted to ask everybody, how was your St. Patty's Day, man? I don't want to go a podcast. Does anybody care anymore? Are people doing the thing?
I didn't feel like it. It didn't feel like anyone really cared.
No?
I didn't even know it was St. Patty's Day until like the night of.
Yeah, you don't, like, nobody pinches anybody anymore.
No, nobody does.
Well, it's because of all of cancel culture. So.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, South Park highlighted that in their most recent episode. They beat the shit out of Butters because he pinched a girl. And she called sexual harassment. And then he's like getting interrogated by a couple of cops, and then I guess his own lawyer ends up saying, so, you know, how did you touch this girl? And then he pinches her, and she just beats the shit out of him. Like an 8-year-old kid.
I'm not representing this man.
Yeah. He is sick. So anyway, yeah,
that's an apt representation of St. Patrick's Day.
Isn't it amazing how relevant South Park is still to this day?
Dude, they make their episodes like days ahead of time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the week of. They make those episodes.
It's not finished until like 20 minutes before it has to actually air. Like they did in a documentary on that.
It's amazing,
where
yeah.
He really just
the one with the centipede.
The centipede.
Yeah, the centipede.
The centipede one, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, good stuff, man. But yeah, you know, I got the same thing. I didn't even enjoy some alcohol that day. In fact, I ended up enjoying it on Friday at an Ontario Reign hockey game that I went to with some friends.
Ooh.
But yeah, and then Saturday morning kind of sucked because I was fucking hungover. Steph will tell you.
Oh yeah, he's on the couch.
But yeah, I wanted to ask because I know I didn't notice anything. You guys are telling me you didn't really notice a big difference. Maybe next year, right?
Yeah.
Did anybody wear green on accident? Because I did.
No, I wore green on purpose. I knew what day it was.
Oh, I didn't know.
Okay. Yeah.
You wore green on accident?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
It works out.
Well, that worked out.
I had my own shirt on, so it was a green logo. So I was like, okay, cool.
That worked out.
That's very super convenient.
At work, everybody wanted to wear the same shirt. We all had to coordinate with each other because it's St. Patrick's Day. We got to be festive. Mm-hmm. And I didn't wear the shirt, and they got super upset. So I had shirt anxiety.
Shirt anxiety.
You or the shirt had anxiety.
Oh, both. Yeah. My clothes had anxiety.
And didn't you have this lame freaking potluck there at work too?
Oh, okay. It was like a green themed potluck. Yeah. Everybody had to bring a green item of their choice. And I brought grapes, and everybody laughed at me because it was so healthy. And you know, guess the most
healthy
brought item for that St. Patrick's Day potluck?
You work at
green eggs
and ham?
No.
I mean,
that's what I would have brought. I would have brought green eggs.
That would have been on point.
Yeah.
There was a like green spam rice.
Oh,
but
it's like spam musubi.
Everybody had the same idea to
just paint everything green.
Buy guacamole chips.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
it's like a cheap thing. There was like 15 bags of chips.
I mean, there's such a thing as cabbage too. It is St. Patty's Day.
I mean, yeah. Somebody brought like
so it celebrates the Irish,
right?
Huh?
Yeah.
Vegetables are green. I mean, I guess that's too healthy though. Huh?
Well,
yeah, I guess so.
Evidently, the grapes were too healthy.
They would have tarred and feathered you if you brought vegetables.
You know what? They all laughed at me, but everybody ate the grapes.
See,
but the grapes aren't even that healthy. They contain so much sugar.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do. But, you know.
Pesticides can-
But it's still a lot of good fiber.
There's a lot of good
Yeah,
fiber,
yeah,
yeah,
there's-
but high sugar
let's
as
just
well.
call them that.
The benefits outweigh the risk. Whatever.
All right. Well, shit. Well, anyway, as I said at the top of the show, we're going to get right into music highlights. We're going to just ask Tanner everything about what's been up with his band, what's been up with his podcast, a bunch of exciting stuff. You even said you might be breaking some news on the show.
Yeah,
I'm going to expect something cool to come out of that.
Don't disappoint.
Yeah, don't disappoint, bro.
I don't know if I want to say it anymore.
Oh,
It's not an easy exit, too. So.
not an
I'm going to have to hop over this fucking pool table.
It's gonna take it all down.
Just take everything down.
like mankind at a ladder match.
But just to repeat what I said earlier before we started the show, everybody's invited to my birthday party in Yorba Belinda. If you're in town, man, come on out. We're going to be there from 9:30 to 1:30 a.m. on Saturday, the 26th of March. It's going to be the first time my band has played a show as a three-piece. We've been a four-piece since I've joined the band, and now we are a three-piece, and it's going to be some interesting stuff, some cool surprises. I think it's going to be an enjoyable night, so we're going to be up there for 4 hours of music. It's going to be just like good old times. So, Harry, come on out if you can. But anyway, let's get on with it with the music highlights. Here we go. Now, Tanner, we're excited that you came all this way to be with us for today's podcast. And as most of our listeners already know, people tune into this podcast for the hard-hitting facts. We're the podcast who likes to ask the tough questions. So I prepared a list of questions to ask you, and we hope that we can get a few things cleared up. So number one, Tanner, what is a podcast?
A podcast is, to me, a podcast is basically just a conversation. Mm-hmm. A long form conversation, depending on, I don't know, it's just two guys or two gals or whatever the fuck it is shooting the shit for a couple hours. And I don't know, what would you say a podcast is? Because it's not different from an interview. I don't know the differences between
It's a
the
radio
two.
show. It's a janky radio show.
But a radio show has music. So a podcast...
Not necessarily. Not if it's AM. Anyway, what's your favorite color?
Blue.
All right.
What is the average velocity of a sparrow?
Oh, you mean a swallow?
A swallow.
Oh, swallow. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I didn't have any hard-hitting questions.
Was it
I don't know that.
Yeah.
African or European?
See? There you go.
No, Tanner, I want to learn a little bit more about your band, how long it's been around. These are probably questions I asked in season 1, but I want to refresh everybody because, I'm not asking people to listen to that episode back in season 1. We weren't that good back then. So I want to reintroduce everybody to Tanner, Poppitt's Corner, Madrost. So we're going to start with all that, and then we'll play some of your music, and then we'll play one of my new songs that we have at my band coming out towards the end of that, and that'll be that for music highlights. But how old is Madrost? Like, when did you first start? Because it's been a while, no?
Well, so we started in 2007.
Okay.
So it's been 15 years at this point. And it's amazing that a band could last that long in this day and age.
Any particular like major member lineups throughout the years?
Member lineups as far as reintroducing people that have added more to the band than
No, like
other
actual
members?
band members coming in and out.
I think the lineup we have now is the most solid.
Okay.
But in terms of like creative input, these guys have brought the most in terms of that goes, because it was a lot of me on the first two kind of albums. So obviously, Essence of Time, that's why it's so different, because it's my influences and Big Cat, aka Necro Nix. So it was the first time that we kind of wrote as a team.
Yeah.
And it was nice to have that team dynamic.
And
So
it's been that iteration ever since?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. And this is what year?
this is around 2016, 2017.
Okay. So it's been holding strong for a few years now.
Yeah.
Nice. Right on. Yeah, it's not easy holding on to some great creative minds who actually like to contribute.
Well, you're in obviously the Fallen Electric and whatnot. So you're not only you're going to have to carry, you said a 3-piece. So you're not only going to have to carry the show in terms of being a guitar player,
right?
Because I'm assuming you didn't lose the drummer.
No.
So my point is that those kind of member changes I haven't had in a while, and you're going through the growing pains again, which sucks.
Yeah, and I think it's an ongoing thing. Like, it's a living, breathing thing. Like it doesn't have to, as long, I guess, because this can be discussed with other bands. Like we just most recently we got Smash Mouth got a new singer because the old guy quit, I think they kicked him out because he was just drunk all the time. So yeah, the guy who fucking sings All Star and Walking on the Sun, they pretty much the soundtrack to the first Shrek movie. He's gone, he's out, and they got this other cat, and he sounds pretty close to the real thing. But is it the same band without this lead singer?
Well,
can it still continue?
Yeah, I think Journey's proven that point.
Yeah.
Well, Arnel Pineda sounds just as good or better than Steve Perry.
So it just depends on. I don't know. I think it just depends on the band. Because,
for instance, what's it called? What's their names? Queen. That has Adam, whatever the heck his name is.
Adam Lambert.
Adam Lambert.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he's the lead singer.
Well,
but they're still going by Queen.
Well, but it's Queen and Adam Lambert.
Right, just
Is
like
that how they're labeling
Sublime
it?
with Rome.
Oh, right. That's
it's
right.
one of those
See,
things.
and I'm in the minority. I like that guy with Sublime.
Rome? Yeah, no, he's good.
I see on the internet a lot of people give him shit.
Well, it's just because he's not Bradley. And of course, he's what are you expecting? Like, it's not Bradley, and I don't think he's trying to do a Bradley impression. He's doing himself. He sounds sort of like Bradley, but not really.
Well, the problem is those guys are dead. Freddie Mercury and Brad, they're dead.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's part of it.
So, but in terms of like Smash Mouth and bands like that are still alive, that's where you kind of have the divide. Because, again, Steve Perry's still alive, and I'm talking in the Journey camp. So that's when that whole thing happened. A lot of people...
Or what's that guy's name from Circus Survive?
Anthony Green.
Anthony Green. He was also in that other band, right?
He's in Seosin.
Seosin.
And then left for Circus Survive. And then Seosin got a new band.
And then they got a new
frontman.
singer. Yeah. And people still accepted that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different kind of band, though.
Yeah.
They're not in the mainstream compared to Sublime or a Smash Mouth.
Yeah.
They those bands, Journey, perfect example.
Oh, Blink-182.
Queen.
Oh, right. They got rid of Tom DeLonge. And
Tom DeLonge.
They got Matt Skiba now. And that's been interesting. That's been a different twist for Blink in the last few years, but whatever.
I mean, you still have Mark and Travis.
But you still have the records. See, I just go back to the records.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How much does nostalgia play into how people make their decisions in terms of accepting a band too, though?
100%.
Yeah.
That's where you start, I think. If we want to get into somebody's psyche with their song choices on their playlist, it's going to be something familiar. It always is. And that's why, it's kind of hard to break a new sound. Like, it's got to be so revolutionary that it's really kind of turning heads. Well, don't you think?
But at that point, you either get one of two things. A lot of backlash for it, or a lot of people not even knowing what to do about it.
Well, I mean, we can trace that argument back to the Beatles.
Correct.
Everybody was like, people who weren't about it were not about it, and they were pretty vocal about it. I mean, we got some examples in the South where they were just banning it from the radio stations. And it happened with all kinds of blues music too, even before that. But yeah, dude, it
happened with Elvis.
Oh yeah, even Elvis. Yeah, when he was coming out.
Yeah.
I'd like to get a female perspective on this because I know you have a more different eclectic styles of music that you like to listen to. So what is your take as far as, let's just go with a band that created nostalgia for you personally, maybe in your teens or 20s or something. Right. Do you still accept that specific band with a different front man / front woman? And give me an example of one. I sorry to take over the show, but I
doing a better job this guy.
Thank you for including me in the conversation. These guys like to walk all over me every once in a while. What? I'm just kidding.
Wait, hold on. There's a woman here?
Whoa.
Huh.
So when they mention Circus Survive, Seosin with Anthony Green leaving. So I was really into that scene back in the 2000s. And so when Anthony Green left Seosin for Circus Survive, I gave it a chance with the new frontman. But essentially, the writing became different. The sound was different. And so I didn't really appreciate the music as much. And I kind of went away from listening to the band itself and sort of followed the singer to his other projects. So I don't know if that happens with a lot of other bands that you guys like.
I think
Yeah.
I think that happens more often than not, because
Right.
I only can name like a couple examples where the band got even bigger, like an AC/DC or a Van Halen,
Oh,
or
right.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
with
true.
a new
singer.
I'm just talking front man.
Yeah.
Like
Black Sabbath.
Well, Blink 182
Ron
isn't
James
bigger
too.
than what they were with Tom.
No.
Right,
If anything,
no.
they're still just kind of.
They're just trying to, they're hanging on to
Just
where
staying
they
afloat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they still play a lot of that era too live. You know,
Yeah.
A
Yeah,
lot
they
of, I think you either have to change your sound drastically with a new frontman and write towards that specific singer's style of voice per se.
Right.
Then it would, because a lot of bands too, they'll write the same and have a singer that can't fit the mold, so to speak, in terms of his vocal ability or his or hers, or so more often than not, you see more bands failing at this.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. No, agreed. I guess it just depends. Depends on the project and who's about it and who isn't. Because I guess there are a lot of good examples of it working out. You just mentioned AC/DC. I keep forgetting that ever happened. Bon Scott into Brian Johnson. But that's because again, he's dead.
But they made arguably the biggest rock album of all time.
Back in Black. Yeah, with Brian Johnson. But then Highway to Hell was really good too.
I'm not saying it wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in terms of sales go.
Oh yeah, that's up there.
It's like what, top 10 biggest rock albums or albums of all time.
You still
I think.
can't get away from it all these years later.
No.
It's a part of. It's ingrained in the culture. Yeah.
And I'm wondering too, how much of an impact is it when a key member leaves? Not just a front man, but like a key member who wrote a majority of the stuff.
Well, there's examples of that with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, where with their different guitar players. It's a different album when Dave Navarro was their guitar player, when John Frusciante wrote all that with them, their first guitarist from when they first started out, that was a different band. And then Josh Klinghoffer, the one who just left and is now in Pearl Jam, by the way. Nobody's talking about that. That's weird.
And John
Right.
Frusciante's back.
It's back with the Chili Peppers. So that's interesting. A good swap right there.
Yeah.
But it's a different album depending, and these are like key players. I read Anthony Kiedis' autobiography, and he talks about how it's a different vibe, but that's not necessarily a bad vibe, because they all made really good albums. I really like the one with Dave Navarro, the ones with John Frusciante are my favorite ones, and Josh did a great job, I thought, with his attempts.
But that band is so eclectic, they can get away with it.
Yeah.
See, like I was listening to like early Def Leppard today, thinking when Pete Willis left and they brought in Phil Collin, different dynamic, right? And obviously they made bigger albums with him, but I think the material really suffered not only when he left, and then years later Steve Clark died.
Yeah.
And then they brought in Vivian Campbell, and then they haven't made a record that's been relevant, in my opinion, since then. Since since Hysteria, which was when Steve Clark was still alive.
They've been struggling a little, yeah.
But they can live off the legacy of the first 4 albums because of the radio play.
Especially if they play them live and, for fanfare and everything. People are still going to show up.
You're not going to see those bands to see the last 15 years of their career. You're going to see the first 10, I would say.
Yeah,
so
that's where the familiarity with the material goes a long way with people.
And as an artist, I'm wondering too, because I'm sure we've all either played in bands or just fans of music in general, how daunting it is to be in a band where you only can play your older material. You're like put in a box almost. It's probably like being famous in general.
And famously, I know that Radiohead wasn't playing their hits for the longest time, and people were hating them for it.
But they still went to the shows.
Yeah, I was one of those people once, and I'm like, I shouldn't have come here. I didn't recognize. They were playing all of their In Rainbows and weird shit that they're doing now. I don't know. That's not. I mean, change your name at that point, I guess. I don't know.
Interesting. So are those the same musicians that created all this? Oh, it's interesting. So change their name even though they're not playing the hits.
And I know that's part of the argument there, or the discussion that we're having. How relevant, or are they the same band if they drastically change their genre and style?
Of course,
because they are. I guess, like doing business as, but
You're gonna sit there and tell me that the first Bathory album is not the same Bathory as it's not the same band as their later material, even though they went into 50 different genres in that same band. It's still under the umbrella.
I'm not
of the band.
convinced myself, Tanner. I'm just trying to make an argument that it's just so disappointing that, you know, you're just like, am I even listening to the band I fell in love with anymore?
See, Tanner, there's something you need to learn about Joseph. He's
Is this
how should I say? He's a very negative individual.
Yeah.
He sees a pair of underwear and he immediately looks for the skid marks.
Right.
You know,
at least they weren't wet this time. Unlike
so you think.
Unlike our last conversation.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is true.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
You fucking figured me out, Josh.
Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember when the internet was the internet? Like before it was like what we had
with AOL, with
I'm
the
talking
little AOL
Netscape
disc.
Navigator status? Like, what are we talking about here?
I'm talking like you just played G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
E-Bombs World.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The best.
Those were the
Yeah.
days.
The
Those were
best.
the days.
It's Numa Numa, man. When Numa Numa was a hit. Became a fucking part of a song, dude.
You probably don't want, unless you put on glasses, you probably don't want to say Numa Numa on camera here.
Oh,
You might have to do the dance.
Someone can asphyxiate glasses on me.
Please, can a fan do that and send that over? That'd be so sick.
Do it.
Just make a meme out of it.
Yeah.
Do it.
With the song playing.
Yeah.
Jesus. All right. Anyway, we kind of went off on a lot of tangents.
That's
there.
what we do here.
Yeah. On Poppitt's Corner, right? Is that what the name of this show is? No. I want to talk more about your band, man. So yeah, we talked about the influences and all that good stuff. But what inspired the re-releases of the vinyl? Is it the 15-year anniversary?
Well, so we were doing it. It's kind of a label decision. So I'm not sure how much of the label stuff you want to get into with us, but essentially we were signed to No Life to Metal Records in 2020, when we had just recorded Charring the Rotting Earth and we were going to release it. And so the label, we got in touch with them. It's a super long story, but essentially I sent them one of our albums on vinyl.
Yeah.
They really loved it. Asked if if they could work with us on the next record, and essentially it was I already had a record to go, so it's like cool. It's super convenient. A label just approached us and wanted to work. Mm-hmm. We gave them the album, and it's obviously transpired into this beautiful kind of relationship. So after that whole thing started to do well for us, they wanted to reissue our catalog because it had never been put out on vinyl, mm-hmm. and they were all out of print. So all the records were out of print, and people were just asking, I guess, the label, a lot, and they, God bless them, they pressed it on, on CD and vinyl with bonus material that I had in my vault for fucking 10 years. So
there's like these are like bonus tracks that have never been released. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So like this has like a disc 2 called Live Aquatic. It's just a full live record that we recorded at D Piazza's. Mm-hmm. And being in a band yourself, you can probably appreciate the fact of how important it is to get those soundboard recordings from venues, just to have it just in case, say you
can share it with other fans.
And I know you have a record or two coming out or something like that.
We're just releasing singles.
But in due time, if you had an anniversary, you can
package it up and for sure.
If the band's not doing anything, you can release like a live record, and at least it's still keeping the name relevant.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what we did, was reissue after reissue, and now obviously I'm working on something. And I was working on it today. It's taken a long time to process this stuff. But yeah, I'm working on another project for the label as like a birthday present, or like a birthday present, I would say, to myself.
Okay.
Even though my birthday was months ago.
Yeah. Well, what is it? Are you allowed to say?
Well, I can't give out details. Just know that I went through boxes of just old photographs, putting this thing together in old flyers. So I probably just spoiled more than I should have, but you guys probably know where this is going.
Like a deluxe scrapbooky kind of...
Yeah, it's like a nice retrospective kind of thing for the diehards. Diehards of the band will want this in their collection for completists.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then obviously as I was going through the photographs, I found a soundboard recording that I'm going to include that I've never heard of, never heard it in 10 years since it got recorded.
Do you remember recording it? Do you remember it happening?
No, didn't even know that I had it still.
Yeah.
I knew that it existed. Didn't know where it was because we moved 4 or 5 times, and things get lost. I'm sure you've lost posters or whatever in this room just from either moving or
my mind.
Isn't it nice to find those gems that you forgot? It's like a nice little present.
And as a fan,
treat,
let me ask you this: as a fan, your favorite band, if they released something that maybe wasn't the best, but it was still awesome that they released it, would you support that? If it was your favorite band and you'd never heard this shit before?
Of course, yeah.
So there you go.
It's either like a deep cut from their first years, or something that maybe got passed along, didn't make it onto the B-side, and now it's getting released.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear something like that.
And you don't want it to get lost as musicians.
Right. Yeah.
You want everything to be as preserved as possible. So it's nice to get the opportunities and support behind you with having the label. So you might as well got to take advantage of it while you have it.
Yeah. No, that's good stuff, man. Well, we'll be playing some of that music coming up, but I wanted to now talk about Poppitt's Corner, man. So it's busy, right? I went over and recorded something probably, what was it, like January? It was early January. Yeah, I know.
God.
It was. And it still won't be out for like another 4 to 5 weeks. Explain yourself.
That's really why you wanted to.
Let me just put it this way. I'm doing 5 interviews in 4 days this week.
Dang.
And you release once a week?
Yes.
Okay. So you got a catalog building up. Okay.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But it's needed.
Yeah.
And I love what you guys are doing here and documenting bands and not only just promoting yourselves, because there's this little selfishness to doing a podcast.
No question.
That's what it is.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Right? It's the stuff you want to talk about, right? But it's important to document what's going on here, because once it's gone, it's gone.
Man. Do you remember when MySpace erased everybody's fucking band profile? This was like 2 years ago. You had an entire generation of music wiped off the face of the earth.
With a click of a button.
With a click of a fucking button, man.
And then now we can get into why physical media is so important.
Yeah, no kidding. Man, that's an uphill battle, though. My car is a 2016 model. Doesn't even have a CD player anymore. 2016 was a little while ago.
That's why I won't buy a car without a CD player. I refuse to do it.
Either you can always adapt one in there if you want.
No, you can make them do it. If you're spending $20,000 on a fucking car, put a goddamn CD player in it. What does that cost? $200?
Can I get a vinyl player in there, you think?
Might skip a little.
You know what's coming back?
Put on
tape decks.
Oh,
that's right.
Yeah.
He got within the last couple years, I guess, because everybody was cooped up at home. Found these old tape decks. Why don't we bring these back?
Yeah, we have no device to play these on.
Whoa,
and then
what
you
is
got to
this?
order one from like some third world country.
Well, cassettes have been making a comeback for years and years and years. Just being in a band myself, I don't know how well everybody's kind of well versed in this.
I think
kind of stuff.
the ones I've seen, ironically, have been put out ironically, but they've worked. Like, people are still purchasing them because it's a little piece of nostalgia, even if it's like a band that just came out and they put out a cassette. It's still pretty cool. Like, and it's just another piece of merchandise that they can get out. Yeah.
I'm waiting for the 8-track.
That one's hard to fucking get a device for, isn't it? I think I went to the only place I've ever seen one like in person was in Amoeba Music in not even the one in Hollywood, the one in Berkeley.
They have one.
Yeah, where you can because they have the 8-tracks there, and you can, I guess, play them before you buy them.
That's such a pain in the ass. I would never want that.
Yeah,
I don't know. That kind of nostalgia I would never. Same with cassettes. I'm not a cassette guy. I'm just not.
Well, I'm not either, but back in the day, I guess I was because everybody else was.
Sure.
But I remember, you still being able to pull out the artwork, kind of like a. I don't know if you've gotten if you remember those, but and then they got lazy towards the end when CDs started, coming up. But those early on, my cousins had like these Pearl Jam cassettes, and you can fold out the lyrics. And
yeah, that's what we do for Madrost. We purposely do like a 6-page fucking or 6-panel thing just to have some fun with it. If people want to. That's always the fun stuff.
And then, down the line, the industry got lazy and they would just do the insert with the names of the titles of the songs on there, at least towards the end of it, if I remember correctly. And then CDs tried doing the same thing, and you can only fit so much paper in that little thing.
Now, I know we've discussed this on Poppitt's Corner, but for the audience and whatnot, why did you personally get into podcasting?
Well, the people have heard this story before, but I went to the desert with these guys, had some shrooms, and we were already discussing the possibility of recording something, on shrooms I was looking at the sky, and then all of a sudden things got quiet, and I said, you guys, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start a podcast. And the catalyst for that was the Foo buying me some microphones, some cheap microphones off of Wish, and I was like, oh well, it looks like he's down. So then I never really used those microphones, so I already had some at my disposal, and we just set things up. Hit up an acquaintance that I had that had a similar looking mixing board, and just kind of copied what he was recommending, and got rid of him shortly after.
Now, what was your overall goal to starting a podcast? Did you want to specifically just focus on bands, or focus, because this is like a fucking variety show? It's segmented for sure. I wanted to talk about music. Personally, I wanted to talk about music and hyping up the local talent, and if we could get some national talent, that's really cool. That's yet to happen, but one day it'll happen.
And so talk music, talk shit, because that's what we really were about. Every time people would come over, namely this guy's family, they would say, hey, you guys talk a lot of shit to each other, and it's pretty funny. Like, somebody should just record this. And I said, yeah. And then, so that helped. And then, I'm just like, well, what do you guys want to talk about? He's really into comic books and sports, so let him kind of run with that. I'm into comic books and sports, but only because of them. So I'm not, I have a healthy knowledge of this stuff, but only secondhand.
And it's been a while since I've been here, so what does Steph bring more to the show now?
Yes, Steph. What do you bring more to the show?
Read us your curriculum vitae.
Oh, okay.
I want your resume.
I do an annual health and such, the health state of the Foo Bar show.
It's very poor. Very poor health.
Very poor health.
Yeah. At least for one of us.
I provide I'm like the hype guy, so I do the laughs in the back. You'll just hear me.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've heard that before.
We just started a new segment called Doom Scrolling with Steph, so I'll just find random stuff on the internet and kind of share it with them.
Yeah. Ironically, we won't have one today, though.
Yeah.
No, not today.
No, of course not.
And sometimes I try to instigate arguments between the guys.
It's not hard.
It's really not hard.
Not that hard. Yeah.
Not at all.
Not that hard to do.
So when is this show going to take a dive and not be here anymore now?
What do you mean?
Because now you guys are going to get in a fight, and shit's just going to
Oh, dude, we've been fighting for several years. Yeah. If it hasn't ended now, I don't know when it will.
I think it's not going to happen.
Safe to say this will go on until one of us dies. Well, and then even after.
That's what I like to do with people I don't like. Just wear them down for years and years.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm not just going to not talk to you. I'm going to be one of your best friends, and I'm going to wear you down. Yeah. That's how you got Steph.
The long game, as we call it.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a fun segment so far.
Yeah. Thank you. So, all right, Poppitt's Corner, big old catalog. I won't be on for another month. What made you get started with Poppitt's Corner? Your love for metal music and people who play music, right? I mean, based on what I know, but is there more of a motivator behind it?
I've never been asked that before. Mm-hmm. That's a first, so thank you for that.
Yeah, man.
So
holding up a mirror to good old Tanner here.
That's right. The main reason why I got started in this was because out of frustration. Mm-hmm. I would see all these killer bands, in my respective genre of music, right? Because it was just show after show after show after show, and there was nobody documenting it. There was nobody interviewing the bands, or so I was doing radio at KTST FM Anaheim, .com with my buddy Benny the Breeze for years, and then that thing fell apart, and then I didn't want to like give up on it. So
was the Breeze because he has a lot of flatulence?
No.
Oh.
No, he's been doing it since like the 90s or whatever.
Okay.
So he had just had a radio spot. He needed a co-host, and he saw what I saw, and this whole community just not getting documented. There are no avenues for it.
His radio name is Broken Wind. Sorry.
There's a lot of broken wind here. Yeah.
And you put me right next to him. Fine. I could see where the show's going. So
it's fine, man. I didn't have beans today. You're okay.
But so basically, it was just out of frustration, and I think because there's so much material out there, that's why I'm so backed up on shit, because the show's obviously being enjoyed by more and more people. So I keep getting.
And you're a part of a network now.
Yeah. The CMSPN. The CMS is a classic metal show. It's a podcast I've loved for years, and when I got the opportunity to work with them, it was like, I mean, yeah, because to me they're like the best of the best. So it's like, oh, cool, I must be in with that whole crowd. Not that it's saying I am or not. That's kind of a little biased, and I let the audience decide that. Okay. So, but my also, I'm gonna say yes. But my main focus too was to ask better questions, because I was as a guy in a band would always get these. They're called essays. Yeah. There's literally like 10 or 12 of the same bullshit questions you would get in every fucking interview. So if you're doing 13 of them for you're on
autopilot, it's not so exciting.
Dude, and I hated English and I hated doing essays. So the podcasting thing was like, let's just have a conversation and allow me the opportunity to ask tougher questions and get down really to the nitty gritty, because I didn't see a lot of our peers doing that respectfully. Obviously, I had no idea of this show at the time, but this is 2018. So it's like, it's already been 4 years in this point. So obviously the big name guys have the big kind of, what would you say, media, so to speak, like the
cachet.
Well, yeah, they have there's just more media focused on the bigger name bands, but the underground had nothing. I felt.
No, yeah. That's and that's also my motivator for wanting to talk about music on this show. Even if it's a day where we don't have a guest, I wanted to still hype up some music that I discovered, that maybe not everybody's talking about yet. That not necessarily is local or local to me. We've had shows as far as from like Ohio, or some bands, I mean, be on the podcast. So we try to get some different flavors in here. Doesn't necessarily even have to be something that I would normally listen to either.
So because I know we're going to be getting into the music segments and whatnot. I kind of would like to start with your specific band first, just because I'm really curious as to why you chose this track to debut this month rather than one of the others. Is this just the newest track? Yeah, we remixed it, so it's not a new track per se that we've written. We've recorded it, but we just remixed it right now, and I think it sounds 10 times better than it did before. Well, let's hear it. Yeah. You want to hear that now? You like that segue? New Fallen Electric song? All right. Well, shit. Let's this is the music highlights. Yeah, we're doing the music highlights there, Josh. Yeah, wake up, bro. Whoa. How many finger am I holding up? You all right? All right. Circles by the Fallen Electric.
That's Circles by The Fallen Electric, man. It's probably our heaviest song to date right now. So, yeah.
I like it.
Right on.
Has more
Thank
of
you.
a pop kind of element to it.
Yeah. I think it's on a major scale, yeah. We didn't fuck with the minor scale with this song, but yeah, we were pretty happy with it, especially after this remix. So, pretty fucking happy to release this real soon. We're just going to work on a music video first, release it as a package. It's going to be a cool time. Anyway, enough about me, Tanner. Jesus Christ. I want to talk more about Madrost, going back over to Madrost, and we'll start with the first song that you asked me to play. It's off of the Charring the Rotting Earth album. This is the title track, Charring the Rotten Earth by Madrost. Let's take a listen. Damn, that guy's pissed.
Pretty heavy.
No, dude, that was awesome. I was just picturing, because right now we're really into Attack on Titan, the anime. I was just picturing all the shit that goes down, like with this music backing it up.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really
Be a
good
good
stuff.
fan base to get into now.
Oh yeah, especially with that kind of action happening on that show. Anyway, earlier in the segment, you were talking about how your label kind of assisted you with the release of these new reissues on vinyl. So, how important, or tell us more about your label. How have they helped you out and that kind of thing?
So the label has really broadened the band in terms of getting us a whole new fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Because, the No Life to Metal Records is a subsidiary of Rox Productions, which is primarily more of a Christian kind of label, which is awesome too. But No Life to Metal can get away with not releasing. It doesn't have to be Christian metal for them to release it. So it's run by a guy named Scott Waters, and then Bill Badford is the guy that runs Rox Productions. So it's like the dynamic duo, as I call them.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much they've just opened the doors that needed to be opened for us in order for us to kind of get just her to a whole new fan base, I would say. And they've also created opportunities for us in terms of marketing purposes, and I would say more opportunities to get our stuff pressed.
Yeah.
Because it's financially it's not really easy to do this.
Yeah.
Financially,
You got to have somebody with deeper pockets than yourself.
And doing it year in and year out, like I said, Maleficent was reissued in 2020, or 2021. I'm sorry. So Charring was in 2020, Maleficent was in 2021, and then obviously Into the Aquatic Sector was this year. So let's say release it for the last 3 years. So I would say having a label is just super important, because it not only makes the band more legitimate, and I want to get your guys' perspective as far as that goes. In today's world, it seems like having a label is still necessary due to that fact, and it can obviously handle more stuff that, say, bands don't want to do.
Yeah.
But I also think it's imperative that bands don't solely rely on a record label to do everything for them.
Right. I think a lot of labels, based on the labels I've spoken to, they're looking for somebody who can hold their own before they even need a label. Somebody who can still, and then the label will take that and then run with it and then multiply it by the amount of networking opportunities that they can provide you, or just the resources that they have at their disposal on a day-to-day, where a band that's just doing everything independently is not going to have.
And it's amazing that bands don't promote themselves as much as you'd think. Like I said, having your own platform like this has really opened, at least to me, my eyes as far as what bands need to be better on. And I think promoting for sure is one of them. I don't know how you feel about that, but just being in a band yourself, do you see yourself kind of promoting yourself more because you're a host, so you try and branch off to other?
It definitely helps. Yeah, I mean, because it's just, I mean, I'm going to use this platform that I created for it. I mean, I'd be stupid not to.
But I'm saying even going on other people's platforms, promoting yourselves and whatnot. I just see bands just not doing that.
Oh, yeah. And, we just did a string of, I want to call it a magazine tour in Europe. I mean, we weren't in Europe, but a lot of magazines around like Portugal, Spain, France, and the UK wrote about us. And, so we're trying to get out there. Nobody's a prophet in their own town. So, we want to branch out a little bit more than it's important that bands do it. And what do you think it is, Tanner? Is it like they try to be too humble and it's just to a fault?
I think bands just don't want to put in the work. They want everything to be handed to them.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to talk smack. It is.
No, it's true.
I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah. The comment that I hear a lot that really bothers me is, well, let the music speak for itself. It's like, okay.
Do you know how much music gets released on a daily basis?
It's a lot.
A lot.
Thousands, hundreds of thousands of songs on a day-to-day.
It's like how much video footage gets uploaded to YouTube a second? Is it like 300 hours?
Some stupid, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if that's on YouTube and it's free,
right.
How much of is getting in? How much music is being uploaded day to day, second to second?
Yeah.
That's a lot of.
And the only music that you know of and remember to put on your playlist is the one that keeps slapping you in the face. You gotta you gotta hold it to people's faces for them to pay attention.
Well, not only
the right
that,
way.
Not only that, but you have to put yourself in other avenues that you otherwise wouldn't. It's a comfortability thing, I think, for a lot of bands. They like being comfortable, and so you kind of have to take that leap of faith and branch out into other territories that you otherwise wouldn't. You know, it's not easy. It takes work, dude.
Yeah. It's just like Cypress Hill said, it's a fun job, but it's still a job.
It's a great song, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, shit, man. Let's get into the next song here. This is off of Into the Aquatic Sector, the 2022 remastered Frozen Beneath the Snow.
Yep, this is for Shannon Fry.
Right on. Let's do it. Hell yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, right on, man. Hey, I wanted to talk to you about your the production that you've put into all of this. Now, obviously, that was a remastered song, but it was first put out in 2014?
Yeah, so 8 years ago. Beautifully remastered by Rob Caldwell, by the way. I thought he did a fantastic job on it.
How different has the recording process, the editing process, all that, how has that changed for you, if at all, since 2014 to the stuff that you're doing now?
Well, it's just like, as you know, technology changes day in and day out. So it's almost like...
Would you say that it's easier or just different?
Yeah, I think I use it more to my advantage than I would back in the day. I think I had to work a little bit harder to get the results I wanted to get. Right. But at the same time, too, I could have done it the way I did it. I do it now. I don't know. I like still putting in the hard work to get the results. So I don't like relying solely on just cut and paste kind of thing. Yeah. Like on this album, most of the guitars are like one takes. So I like making sure that they're played cleanly, and I did all the rhythms on that particular song. So, nice. Not say I'm looking for comments, but I'm just saying I like to at least put the work in, not solely rely on the engineer to do most of the work. Again, just like
the magic.
Yeah.
But you're still like, some bands would do live. They'll record the song all together at once. Are you tracking it?
No. I'm doing it to a click. Obviously, scratch guitar to a click. Drums.
Because you were doing two guitar parts,
right? So, drums go in, playing it to the scratch guitar and click, and then everybody just kind of follows along to the drums and. Vice versa.
It's just so crazy when you think about, back in the day when people had to deal with analog tape, and the way they had to cut and edit that was just so strenuous. And then you had to get, there was a level of like pitch correction, but even then that required some more work, compared to what they got going on these days.
Well, and it was expensive.
Yeah.
You got to think about for obviously the beat. I think that's probably why you get more 1 to 2 minute long songs back in the day. Nowadays you can do 20 minutes and
it takes the same amount of time problem. Or effort.
And it's less cost. It's more cost effective, I guess.
And you kind of had to get your vocal shit together, man. Like back then, at least, because there was only so much that they could do, and you would do so many takes of the same thing, but you had to be as close to the how the tunings are on the rest of the instruments. Right. Well,
I think with our style compared to, say, classic rock, like the Beatles and whatnot, two completely different vocal styles. Yeah, obviously. Kidding, yeah. But with I only could speak for us, so maybe you can bring us into your world of the Fallen Electric. But how I do it is, I always like to do almost in its entirety and clean up little sections that say like, oh, I didn't hit that note as what I wanted to, or I wanted to elongate that note or something like that.
Or then, dynamics.
Correct. Yeah. Then I'll go back in. But on this album, it was mostly 1 or 2 takes vocally too. Yeah. Like that scream, I think I did it once. Yeah. And that was cool. That was it.
No, that's good. So yeah.
I think it's also a matter of how much work you put into it. Yeah. Just like anything.
Right. And working and being on the same page as your engineer and the people mixing and mastering it too. Everybody needs to be in on that process, I think.
Well, that's why you have to hire people that you otherwise will trust.
Yeah.
It's like hiring an artist to do the cover. Like when I chose Tony Cole to do the album covers, I had faith and trusted in him. I didn't need to give him any direction. It was just like, here's some lyrics.
What he was going to pump out was going to be good.
Right. Yeah. I didn't need to be in the same room 24/7, making sure every nook and cranny that he was doing worked. Right.
Yeah. You would muddy the waters there.
I used to. I'm not going to lie. I did it on one album and I kind of hated doing it. But got the results I wanted.
Yeah, well, that's ultimately you want to be happy with the.
But you just got to hire the people that are going to give you the, good results. Why hire them?
Yeah.
If nothing else.
No, true. All right, well, let's play the last one that you wanted us to play here off of the album Maleficent. This is Under the Hammer, which, by the way, you said was a little underrated, so that's what we're hyping it up today.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Risen, I'm communist. Under the hammer, living in fear. Under the single
Very nice.
I haven't heard that forever. Thank you for playing that.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
No, good stuff, dude. Now, before we close out the music highlights here, you wanted to still highlight one more song by a band called Ozric Tentacles
Absolutely.
off of their album Pungent Effulgent.
I think it's Pungent Effulgent. Is that what it is? Effulgent?
Yep.
Something like that.
Let's go with that.
They have like 80 albums, so I can't keep up with which one it's on.
Now, how do you say the title of this song? I mean, the song's awesome, but is it just O-I?
Yeah, that's what I think it is. It's just
O-I.
Yeah, just they're fucking weird, but I think you guys will dig them. So.
Yeah. No, let's play it.
Light up that joint, and fucking
Pass it around.
Well, it's sponsored by cannabis, so there you go. Right, perfect segue
Boom.
for that too.
There you go.
What's the cannabis thing again?
Oh, Grass Store.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, go to foodbarshow.com. Click on our banner, grassstore.com.
I can't keep giving you this advice.
We were not at the joint report yet, Tanner. But okay. O-I. Shit was weird, but it was dope.
1989. Can you believe that?
Yeah,
That means they had to do that to tape.
Yeah. Oh shit! I like that. It was a nice, smart, and clever use of the talk box. Now you're saying that you're thinking they're using the keyboard. I was setting guitar first, but
probably you're probably right.
Yeah, because of the bending. Unless they're bent, I don't know, the fucking 89.
They have a keyboard player, so I know it's whatever it is. I love it.
Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of the same sounds that we've heard in other bands that we know and love. I mean, you can rattle them off: Pink Floyd, Mars Volta, shit like that. Yes.
Yeah.
All that stuff. It's good. It's good stuff. And the fact that it's all instrumental is really cool.
I just wonder how high they were when they chose to make a band called Ozric Tentacles.
I would say very. Very.
Yeah. At least a little bit.
Yeah.
At least a little bit. Tanner, I'm just going to piss Josh off with this song if you don't mind.
That's fine.
Okay.
Oh my God.
This is requested by Steph.
You think I'm ugly, I don't care. You think I'm dumb, I don't care. You think I'm scum, I don't care. Bitch, I make my money. Party till I die. With my chin up high. Fuck 'em up, fuck 'em back. Twerk like it's my last day on this earth.
Oh, God.
Make it work.
Terrible.
Have you seen the music video to this song?
Not the actual one, but I've seen all the TikToks and shit made with that song. It's just as ridiculous.
At first I thought it was a dude.
We all thought it was a dude.
It's a lady. It's a Dutch lady from the Netherlands, and she's talking about how she's gonna keep her chin up high and shit. It's a good message, I think.
I don't even know what that is. What is?
Well, her name is Amy Bibabi from the Netherlands. This is her single, Chin Up High. It's all over fucking TikTok and Instagram with people like putting videos of, what are they playing? Like Pokemon Go, and they're putting a Dragonite on somebody's head, just dancing to the song.
Yeah, it's usually like a Dragonite or like a Charmander on like somebody's pet.
On a dog's.
And it's the backing is this song. Like there's no rhyme or reason to it other than, it's just.
Yeah,
funny.
It's ridiculous.
I wonder who determines what song gets, what's the word I'm looking for? Really popular at one point.
Like goes viral?
Yes,
and shit?
goes viral.
Or it starts trending? I don't know. People, I guess. Just people backing a nonsensical, irony is huge with this generation. And it's
TikTok. We're in the TikTok generation where just the smallest little video, smallest little snippet can just take off.
Yeah.
See, I kind of disagree because you were talking about Numa Numa, and that was way before. So we've always had it since the
We've
internet.
always had it, but I'm saying to the scale that it's gotten. In scale, it's grown a lot larger because of social media like TikTok, where also Numa Numa grew too because of MySpace in particular. Obviously it was E-Bomb's world, but not a lot of people went to E-Bomb's world unless a friend told them about it. Everything was always on MySpace.
And then remember Vines came out?
Yeah, and then Vines came out.
Vines, you get like 7 seconds or something?
7 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, just to make a video, and there was a lot of clever shit out there at that time. Vine went out of business, but Instagram and Snapchat absorbed that concept with stories and stuff, and now you don't get the same kind of Vines because now they'll allow you up to like 15 seconds to a minute depending on what you're doing.
Well, then now you have TikTok, which can allow up to like 3 minutes now, so you can have like a 3-minute video on TikTok, and I've seen bands when I was using social media put full music videos up on TikTok. They were there. So you just had to like press a button, you can just keep watching.
It's the new MTV.
Yeah.
If potentially, it's not that it's being used for that, but yeah.
There's one more point I wanted to make. You said that you were making a music video for the Fallen Electric track that you played earlier.
Yeah.
So what is the concept you're going with this time?
I want something really grody. Like I want something like B-movie. What do you call it? Those scary movies from back in the day.
Like the slasher films?
Yeah, like those but those dirty like slasher films. Those
like
B-rated,
like a
Grindhouse.
Grindhouse.
Yeah.
I want that feeling for it, and I want us. I'm going to tell you what's been running through my mind with the concept of this music video.
Play by play.
Yeah, I want us like trying to run away from something chasing us, right? And it's pretty much, that's the music video. Sometimes it'll cut to us playing a riff, you know, on stage or I don't know, in that forest that we're running in. And at the end of the music video, I don't know how we get there, but we get cornered by this one guy who's presumably, I guess, a friend once you figure out what's happening here. But he catches up to us. We're cornered. We're fucked. And instead of killing us, he gives us that circle that kids did back in the day on the leg, you know, and then he punches us in the arm, and that's the end of the video.
So when you're going to be starring in this?
Yeah, I'm going to be the guy punching him.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to get this guy to run? Come on.
Yeah, I can run, man. I'm pretty fast for a big guy.
Remember, the villains never have to run. They don't run.
And the payoff's at the end, too. So if they make you run, you just hit them even harder.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Do you see Jason running?
They don't run.
That's true.
Never
Or
run.
That's true.
Mike Myers, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, all right. I think you're onto something there,
Boom,
Josh.
son.
Hey, look at that. You didn't even have to run. Check you out, clever fuck.
Sounds like my Tuesday.
Tanner, it's been a goddamn slice of heaven.
Thank you very much, guys and gals, for having me. I really appreciate a moment of your time.
Yeah.
Make sure to pick up Into the Aquatic Sector on 2 CD set and vinyl LP at NoLifeTillMetalRecords.com or RocksProductions.com, RocksRecords.com, and PoppitsCorner.com for the podcast. If you like more in-depth music talk, because I'm a music nerd, definitely that's the podcast for you, I would say.
Absolutely, man. And I've just decided right now that this particular episode will be a two-parter. So this will go up as its own kind of contained episode as a part one to a larger episode, which we'll complete after we say our goodbyes to Tanner here. But thanks for sticking around, man. Thanks for coming down. I know it's not an easy trek from where are you at Lake Forest to Ontario, California. It's a little bit of a drive. So thanks for doing it.
Appreciate it. Well, anytime you guys want to have me again, we'll do it to it, and you come down to my neck of the woods, we'll do it to it again.
It's not so bad for me. I kind of work 20 minutes from there. So
All good.
Just go pop over to his corner, Foo.
And it's sad as I live on a corner,
You're
as you
welcome.
know.
Yeah, you do live on a corner.
That was not intended. Just letting you know that.
Awesome. All right.
Best show ever.
Well, that's going to do it for the music highlights. Everybody stick around for Geeking Out. We'll be right back.